All right, let's have a little chat. Do you remember a time when your phone felt less like a demanding boss and more like a box of toys? I'm talking about the good old days, the golden era of apps. This was before our screens were filled with endless notifications, work emails, news alerts that make you want to hide under the duvet. Back then, opening an app was pure, simple fun. It was a time of discovery, a digital playground where every download was a new adventure. We weren't trying to build a brand or become an influencer. We were just trying to have a laugh with our mates. It was a simpler, dare I say, happier time in the digital world. Think about it for a second. That feeling of getting your first smartphone. It was like being handed a magic wand. Suddenly you could do anything. You could poke a friend on the other side of the country. You could draw a wobbly picture and send it to your mom. You could check in at your local cafe like you were some kind of celebrity. These apps weren't about optimizing our lives or tracking our productivity down to the last second. They were about connection and silliness. They were designed for delight, not for data harvesting. We were the first generation to explore this new frontier, and honestly, we had a blast doing it. Oh, Vine, where do I even begin? It was pure genius. 6 seconds, that was it. That was all you had to make someone laugh or gasp or just go, "What on earth did I just watch?" And we loved it. It was the perfect format for our shrinking attention spans. You could scroll for 10 minutes and see 100 different hilarious, weird, wonderful little videos. It was like a never-ending talent show where the acts were just your mates being gloriously silly in their living rooms. Vine wasn't about polished perfection. It was about capturing a single, brilliant moment of spontaneous fun. It was comedy for the people by the people. The creativity that came out of that 6-second constraint was just staggering. People became masters of the quick cut, the perfect loop, the unexpected punchline. Remember Do It for the Vine? It became a global catchphrase. We all knew someone who would do something completely daft just to get that perfect 6-second clip. It taught us a new kind of language, a visual shorthand made of memes and inside jokes that everyone seemed to understand. From on fleek to what are those? Vine didn't just entertain us, it shaped an entire era of internet culture. It was a shared experience that brought millions of us together in laughter. What made Vine so special was the community. It felt like a massive inside joke that we were all a part of. You'd discover a new Viner and spend the next hour binging all their old clips, feeling like you'd stumbled upon a hidden gem. Then you'd send the best ones to your friends, and you'd all be quoting them the next day at school or work. It was a powerful connector. It wasn't about showing off a glamorous life. It was about sharing a moment of pure, unadulterated absurdity. That authenticity is something we all crave, and Vine delivered it in spades, 6 seconds at a time. Now, let's talk about the OG. Before DMs, before WhatsApp, before anything else, there was MSN Messenger. For anyone of a certain age, the sound of that little nudge, ba-dung, is seared into your brain. It was the sound of a friend wanting to chat after school, the sound of late-night conversations, the sound of teenage drama unfolding in real time. Your status wasn't just online or away, it was a canvas for your soul. You'd carefully select lyrics from the saddest song you knew to show you were going through it, or you'd use a cryptic in-joke that only one person was meant to understand. It was our public diary. The customization was everything. Choosing your display picture was a week-long process. You had to find the perfect, heavily filtered, high-angle selfie. Then you had the custom emoticons. We were creating our own hieroglyphics, our own secret language of weird, pixelated, smiling faces. And let's not forget the What I'm Listening To feature. This was the most important social statement you could make. You'd play that one cool, obscure song on repeat for hours, just hoping your crush would notice and think, wow, they have incredible taste. It was a performance. We were all the stars of our own show. MSN Messenger was our social hub. It was where plans were made, where homework was collaborated on, which usually meant copying and pasting, and where friendships were forged in the fires of endless instant messages. You'd have 5 different chat windows open at once, trying to keep up with all the gossip. It was the center of our universe after the school bell rang. It taught us how to communicate online, how to flirt awkwardly with emoticons, and how to type incredibly fast with our eyes closed. It wasn't just an app, it was a virtual common room for an entire generation. Looking back, what made MSN so special was that it was a dedicated space. You had to be at your computer to use it. This meant that when you were on it, you were on it. You were present. It wasn't something buzzing in your pocket while you were trying to have dinner with your family. It was a destination. It represented a time when our digital lives and our real lives had slightly firmer boundaries. We miss that dedicated time for connection, that digital space that felt like it was truly ours, or the pressures of a wider world. Remember when going somewhere new felt like an achievement you had to document? That was the joy of Foursquare. It turned the entire world into a giant game. You weren't just going to a coffee shop. You were checking in, competing with your friends to become the mayor of that location. Oh, the title of mayor. It was a badge of honor. Being the mayor of your favorite pub, being the mayor of your local library. It meant you were a regular, a local legend, a king, a queen. It was such a simple concept, but honestly, it was brilliantly addictive. Foursquare tapped into our natural desire for exploration and reward. It encouraged you to try new places. You'd look at the app and see a friend had checked in at a new restaurant downtown, and you'd think, ooh, I should try that. It gave you little badges for your achievements, like the newbie badge for your first check-in or the superstar badge for checking in at 50 different places. It gamified our daily routines and made ordinary errands feel like part of a bigger adventure. It pushed us out into the real world, which is something you really can't say about many apps today. It was a digital tool for real-world discovery. The social aspect was just so wholesome. It wasn't about showing off a perfect, curated life. It was just a simple log of where you and your friends were. You could see that a group of mates was at the park and decide to go join them. It fostered spontaneous meetups and a sense of shared community. It was a gentle way of keeping up with people's lives without the pressure of having to like or comment on a posed photo. It was a simple, hey, I'm here, thinking of you. It connected us in a low-stakes, friendly way that felt genuinely positive and supportive. While Foursquare still exists, it has evolved into something different, split into other apps, and focused more on city guides. We miss the original game, the simple thrill of the check-in and the race for mayorships. It represented a wonderfully optimistic phase of the internet, where technology was used to enhance our real-world experiences, not replace them. It encouraged us to be present in our cities, to explore our neighborhoods, and to connect with the people around us. It made our world feel a little bit smaller, a little bit friendlier, and a whole lot more fun. So why do we get all misty-eyed thinking about these old apps? Is it just simple nostalgia for a time when we were younger? I think it's more than that. These apps represent a different philosophy. They were built for connection, not for consumption. Their goal was to make you smile, to connect you with a friend, or to help you discover something new in your own backyard. They weren't designed with 1,000 dark patterns to keep you scrolling for hours, feeling worse about yourself with every swipe. They felt more human, more genuine, and less like a slot machine for our attention. The simplicity was their superpower. Vine had one job: make a 6-second video. Foursquare had one job: check in where you are. MSN Messenger had one job: chat with your friends. This focus made them incredibly easy and joyful to use. There wasn't a clutter of features you'd never touch. They weren't trying to be everything to everyone. In today's world, every app wants to be a social network, a marketplace, a news source. We miss that beautiful, elegant simplicity. We miss doing one thing and doing it well, without the endless noise and distraction. These apps also fostered a different kind of creativity. The constraints of Vine or the character limits of an MSN status forced us to be clever and concise. They gave us a framework to play within, and that limitation sparked incredible ingenuity. It wasn't about having the best camera or the most professional editing software, it was about having a great idea. This leveled the playing field. Anyone could go viral on Vine. Anyone could write a clever status. It was a more democratic and authentic form of self-expression, and we look back on that with a lot of warmth. Ultimately, we miss these apps because we miss the way they made us feel. They made us feel connected, creative, and joyful. They were companions during our formative years, the digital soundtrack to our lives. They remind us of a time when the internet felt smaller, friendlier, and full of possibility. So I have to ask you, What old apps do you miss the most? What digital ghosts still wander through your memories? What did they teach you? What piece of their magic do you wish we could bring back today? Let me know. I'd love to hear it.